Hello everybody and welcome back to day 2 of Budget Grocery Week. This week we're doing $35 for a week's worth of food from Dollar General. I posted in yesterday's video a pretty lengthy intro where I talked about why I'm doing Dollar General, how much my budget is, and what all food I got for that budget. So feel free to go back and watch that one. I'm going to keep the intro on this one super short and super sweet. Let's go ahead and get on into day 2. Good morning, welcome to day 2, but first, coffee. So I did make this one a little bit stronger than yesterday's, and let's try it. It's better, but it's still not my favorite. I think it comes down to this creamer being sugar-free, because I don't typically buy sugar-free coffee creamers. I think it'll just take some getting used to. I wish they had a non-sugar-free version of this powdered creamer. It'll do for the week. It'll do for the week. I could not in good conscience look like that for the rest of this kind of intro to the video, so I had to go really quickly put on at least eyebrows, because yeah. And for breakfast this morning, I want to do something different. And this is an idea that I have had to try in the back of my mind for so long, and it's based on the British beans on toast, except for in Britain, they call them baked beans, and as I'm sure you know, that in the United States, our baked beans are a little more sweet, molasses-based, really thick, and the baked beans in Britain are in a tomato sauce. So I thought maybe pork and beans would be somewhat similar to British baked beans. So that's what we're gonna do for breakfast today. It's an eggless breakfast. I've never tried it before. That's the entire reason that I got the pork and beans, was potentially to make beans on toast. So it's gonna be fun to try something new. Got my beans on toast. I've got my coffee. Let's give it a try. Honestly, it's pretty fantastic. And if you're not a fan of sweet breakfast, or you don't like eggs or sausage, or kind of your traditional American breakfast foods, I would recommend trying this. So I just wanted to say real quick that that was probably one of the most satisfying breakfasts that I've had in a long time. You know, it gets kind of boring eating the same kinds of breakfasts, especially eggs, sausage, and cheese on just about everything. And it was filling without being overly heavy. It was satisfying. I really enjoyed that, and that actually might be a new go-to breakfast for me moving forward. So it is lunchtime, and yesterday's video is live, and you guys are already rolling in with so many great ideas on some things that I can make. Couple of notable ones I've seen is using the French vanilla creamer and the rice to make sort of a rice pudding. Fantastic idea, because I am kind of missing out on something sweet. Definitely wish I had gotten some cookies or something to snack on at nighttime. So maybe tonight we're gonna try some rice pudding. Potato chip omelet, that sounds so good. She said potato chip omelet from the Bear. I'd probably do it with some eggs, frozen broccoli, cheese, sour cream, whisk into the eggs or drizzled on top, then topped with potato chips. That came from El Firebrand. Mark suggested a chili cheese rice casserole with sour cream on top, fried ham lunch meat with a fried egg on toast. that could also be a really good breakfast idea. I'm so happy that so many of you guys eat your eggs the same way that I eat my eggs, because I definitely wasn't sure if most people just smash them up and eat them on bread. So one of my friends used to eat her fried eggs by eating only the white part of the egg around the outside, but leaving the yolk as whole as she could, and then she would eat the yolk as like a single bite. And I always thought it's funny that everybody eats their fried eggs differently. Even on the concept of French toast, I could use the French vanilla creamer to make something of a French toast or a milk bread. So there are so many different ways to use very limited ingredients to come up with some new meals. I was mostly looking for something to make for lunch today. So I didn't see any ideas that I could use for my lunch today, so I was thinking either just a sandwich or a tuna melt. I probably will go ahead and do a sandwich. I still have my leftover ham and bean soup. I still have some leftover rice, so I'll probably have that as a side dish, and then thinking I'm just gonna make a half-sized sandwich to go with the soup. So I did microwave the rice with a couple of ice cubes in it. This helps to make your rice more fluffy as it reheats, a little trick that I learned on the internet. And I was debating using the rice for fried rice. So at some point during this week, I might try to see about getting some soy sauce packets, as some of you suggested, for making like fried rice or something like that. I've got a half of a turkey and ham sandwich just with some deli mustard on it, and then I've got my ham and bean soup with some rice. It's a pretty big lunch. That's why I only did half a sandwich, because I had the soup and the rice. If I was just eating the sandwich with some chips, I'd make a whole sandwich. Almost forgot my lemonade. I do have 20 slices of sandwich bread. So the way that I see it is like I don't have enough to have 4 slices a day for both breakfast and dinner. So most of the days I can have 3 slices, or I can, spread it out somehow. So that's also one of the reasons I did a half sandwich, was to kind of ration my bread slightly, because I like bread. Personally speaking, I feel like sauces make meals more satisfying, so that's why I wanted to make sure I got some kind of a condiment. In this case, it was mustard, and I feel like I can use that for a couple of different things. I don't know how well spicy mustard is going to go with like ranch flavored tuna, but I definitely was contemplating it when I was thinking about making a tuna melt. I feel like being creative with the ingredients in the moment is more interesting and dynamic than pre-planning out all of my meals. Let's make some taco mac. I have the leftover taco soup from yesterday's dinner, and I'm going to combine it with some mac and cheese to make some taco mac. So what I'm thinking is to cook the pasta in a combination of my taco soup broth and some water. So I'm gonna try to grab about a cup of the broth, or I'm sorry, half a cup of the broth, and also about a half a cup of water. I'm gonna let that come up to a boil. In goes half a cup of pasta. Cover this and let it simmer for about 8 minutes. Can't be mac and cheese without some cheese, so I'm going to go in with a tablespoon of the powdered cheese mix. I can also add in some of my real shredded cheese as well. This is thickening up pretty nicely. I am going to use a slotted spoon to kind of grab some of my beans and my tomatoes and my corn. And we might as well make it look pretty with a nice little dollop of sour cream right in the center there. And that is my taco mac. So as you can see, we're trying to find ways to reinvent leftovers so I'm not eating the same thing every single day. If you're following the instructions as they are written on a box of macaroni and cheese, then the instructions say to boil the pasta, drain the water, add milk and butter, and then the cheese sauce packet. The benefit to doing it the way that I just did, 1 cup of water, half a cup of pasta, simmered for I think 8 minutes, and then I stirred in the cheese sauce, is that the starchy water that the pasta is cooked in serves as a pretty good replacement for the milk and the butter that the pasta calls for. So this ended up super thick, very glossy, has a hint of heat from the rotel and the taco seasoning. It does have a nice taco flavor to it, little pops of sweet corn in there. I mean, you can't really go wrong with making mac and cheese into anything. So this is very hot, but I'm gonna try to give it a taste. I've actually never had rice pudding before. This will be my first time. I say that because I grew up in a bread and potatoes household more than a rice household. My mom very rarely, if ever, served rice beside our food. It was always some sort of a potato, mashed potatoes, fried potatoes, some kind of a potato, or bread and butter. Those were the sides that we had. It was never rice. It's not bad, but it's also not really my thing. It does still just kind of taste like rice to me. It does have a lot stronger vanilla flavor now, but it's still, like, I can still taste rice. And I think that that's kind of a bit, my brain's having trouble with that. And it could be because I'm using water in place of milk to prepare this. It might be a little bit more creamy if it had something like that in it. Could try to add some cinnamon to it. See if that's any better. I don't normally do this. I usually only use salt and pepper, but I'm gonna try to add a little bit. A lot of it. Cinnamon to this. Oh boy. Today is going splendidly. Let me just stir that in real quick. Oh no, that's so much cinnamon. It was a fantastic suggestion. I'm not gonna lie. It was like one of the best things that I've read today. I think it was a great idea. I just personally don't like rice pudding, so I'm gonna have to set this one aside, maybe come back to in a future video and try it with some milk or something like that to see if I can subdue that white rice flavor. I could potentially add a third packet of creamer, but I don't want to use them all to try to perfect this one potential dessert when there were so many other ideas on how I could use the creamer. So I'm gonna leave this one for now. I apologize, it's not my thing. On that note, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you are having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for all of your ideas and suggestions. It gives me so many great ideas for this week, and I'm really looking forward to this week, basically, just because of the ideas that you guys have given me and allowing it to be a conversation between the two of us about what I'm gonna make. So that's the really fun part of it. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I will see you again on Tuesday. I do think the next video upload is gonna be on Tuesday after I get back from the Comic-Con this weekend.